What you all have done is an act of courage. It is inspiring. It is aspirational. And I think it's very, very important to make sure that you all know that's in the room, in addition to your family members that are in the room, is that you all are journalists, full stop. You are seeking the truth. You are seeking to inform. You are seeking to make sure that stories are told that need to be told. You are seeking to ensure that people who have a voice have a platform. And I commend all of you for the work that you have done and for choosing this very admirable profession, a profession that is codified in our very United States Constitution.
Of course, journalism is hard work. You need to be able to gather facts credibly, synthesize the material, back up assertions, and write the story in a way that engages readers. These winners show that it's not just possible to do that despite all obstacles, but that it's possible to do it really well. And that's why we are so proud to have been able to take a small part in supporting the Stillwater Awards. My heartfelt congratulations to all of the winners, and thank you all for coming out tonight.
We judged by committee in several online sessions until we came to a consensus. Some entries were clear standouts for the category that they were in, but some others we had to have some spirited conversations about to arrive at a first, second, and third place winner for those. So I'll just wrap up by saying it was a privilege to get to read and critique all of these submissions from incarcerated journalists in the Stillwater Awards. And I thank the participants for their courage and their dedication. Family members should be proud of their loved one's achievement, whether they were selected as a winner or not. Just the simple fact that they're doing journalism in prison is something that their families should be proud of and they can hold their head up high about.
Well, it's time. First category is Publication of the Year. Now, this entails any regularly distributed journalistic print publication inside, in circulation for 2 years or more. First place is the San Quentin News. On its heels of the second place winner, which is the Mule Creek Post. Its third place, which is the Endeavor.
Jesse Vasquez, former editor-in-chief for San Quentin News. Just wanted to say thank you for the recognition. I spoke with Wally and the rest of the guys inside yesterday. They're very excited and appreciate the opportunity to participate in the awards, as well as Jesse Carson. I spoke with him last night, editor-in-chief for Mule Creek Post, and they definitely are very happy to have been recognized. So thank you very much.
I teach journalism in Everglades Correctional and also at Miami Youth Academy, and I'm an advisor for the Endeavor. And they were thrilled to get the award over the last couple of years. The guys have dedicated themselves to try to raise the level and quality of the newspaper, working very, very hard to do that. They were very proud that their work got recognized. I also wanted to give out a shout out to San Quentin. San Quentin has been a model for the guys to emulate as they try to raise the level of the paper. It certainly is the New York Times of journalism. And also some of the newspaper guys at San Quentin do a letter exchange with Miami Youth Academy, where I teach journalism. And the letters that go back and forth and are printed in the Miami Youth Academy paper. It's a juvenile detention facility of 14 to 18-year-old boys. Have a tremendous effect on the kids inside. And so please tell Wally, who helps organize it, I wish him the best, and let's continue to do it. And I just wanted to say, in addition to the Everglades, San Quentin has really had a big effect on the Everglades guys.
Okay, next up, New Prison Publication of the Year, which is any regularly distributed journalistic print publication inside, in circulation for less than 2 years. Now, third place is Mac Newsletter. Second place is The Perception Reimagined.
I don't want to be on video. I look like I got shocked out of a cannon. But on my sister's behalf, her name is Maria Montalvo. She wrote, "Thank you, Society of Professional Journalists and PJP, for the honor and recognition as the second place winner of your award. I am humbled and proud of your newsroom team and contributors for their collaborative efforts to make our newsletter stand out amongst many other submissions. We are all proud of this accomplishment. To my co-editor and friend Mirna Diaz, thank you for your commitment and work ethic, especially during crunch times. My gratitude to Assistant Commissioner Tomei, the opportunity and privilege of having a newsroom for the women of Edna Mahan Correctional Facility by the women of EMCF, and to the Administrator O'Day for being our staunch supporter for education and self-enrichment endeavors that we may wish to explore as a group. She has two other thank yous on behalf of other inmates. Is it okay if I read those two?
Sure.
Okay. On behalf of Tina Lunny, receiving this second place recognition from the Stillwater Committee is an honor and privilege. Perceptions Reimagined is a unique publication that enables women's voices to be heard on many indifferent topics. It couldn't have been a success if it were not for our newsroom team and Edna Mahan Correctional Administration, and especially New Jersey Commissioner Time of Women's Services. And the last thank you is on behalf of Melanie Slate. As a member of the Perceptions Reimagined newsroom, I would like to say how humbled I am and that we are for this recognition. It is deeply meaningful, particularly when being chosen from such a field of talent. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you much. I really appreciate those words. I think everyone does. Thank you. Thank you.
The Mahan Correctional Facility is in New Jersey, and if you guys look it up on Google, they're in the they're plagued by scandal, and that facility is close to being closed down. And that these women are able to put together a publication in the midst of such chaos, it echoes what so many of our participants have been able to do. As Tammy said, it's hard enough to be a journalist out here in the free world. Let alone being incarcerated and not being a journalist. Being a journalist and being incarcerated is infinitely more difficult. Consider being in chaos in an incarcerated environment and being a journalist. And the women at Edna Mahan, as well as so many of our other entrants, are performing this work in the midst of environments that it's hard to think, let alone sit down and put together a cohesive, intelligent piece of journalism. So I just wanted to speak to that before we went on.
Thank you so much. I'll let my sister know and the other ladies know what you said. I'm really proud of my sister. One of her sons is on with me too. That she was able to collaborate with other inmates and give voice to an otherwise silent and marginalized community that nobody ever thinks of. So, thank you so much for recognizing that. I will write to her directly and let her know what you guys said. Thank you so much. It means so much to them. Thank you.
Okay. Now, without further ado, first place goes to Top of the Mountain. Is anyone here from Top of the Mountain?
You don't know how hard it was for us to try to get in, but I'm here representing my daughter-in-law, who's been incarcerated for 17 years now. And her name is Myrna Diaz, and she was awarded for a newsletter editor. So very proud of Myrna, and I just wanted everybody to know that we've always been behind her back. We got her back. I'm so glad you guys made this possible for her to be able to express herself in a manner that the world can acknowledge. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Next category is Prison Journalist of the Year. This is a big one. It's the incarcerated writer chosen from 3 to 5 submissions. Third place goes to Jeff McGee. Second place is Steve Brooks. I think I have some words from Steve that he wrote in. Steve says, one of the most difficult things to do in life is speak truth to power, especially when you are under the power's custody and control. That's what a lot of my writing does, and I have suffered a lot for it. For me, this award acknowledges that there is validity to what I do and a need for it. It evidences an appreciation for the hardship that comes with having an independent voice in prison. Thank you. I am honored to receive this award. Now, first place goes to Christopher Blackwell. Next up is the most impactful journalism category, which is story or package that prompted a meaningful shift in policy or practice. Third place goes to The Hidden Cost of Free Tablets in Prison by Ezeal Williams. Okay, next up. Our second place winner is Washington State Bill Would Undo Super Predator Era Sentencing Scheme by Christopher Blackwell. Now, first place goes to As a Muslim Prisoner in the U.S., I Worry I Will Be Cremated When I Die by Tariq Makbul.
Hey, yeah, this is Eddie Makbul. I'm Tarek's brother. And he prepared a statement that I would like to read on his behalf. The carceral system is such a conundrum, and it's a rather hard subject matter to tackle, because by design, everything is made to seem daunting. I started this journey with a single goal of causing structural changes. This award for most impactful journalism is a validation for that endeavor. For that, I'm grateful.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for those words. I'm glad he's represented. First place is a big deal.
Can I say one thing about this story?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, my name is Mason Bryan. I'm a senior editor at Prison Journalism Project, and I worked quite closely with Tarek over many months on this story. Also with the editor at Al Jazeera English, who was also a huge part of this piece. I just want to say this was an elite effort by Tarek. Probably most importantly, he sought to keep the perspective of his fellow Muslims inside at the forefront and of this story. He was animated by telling the truth. He was animated by producing change for him and his community inside. And he was just a master throughout. It was an absolute pleasure working with him, and I'm very, very proud of Tarek.
Can I please add to Tarek's story in this discussion?
Yes, you can.
Thanks, everyone. I'm a cousin of Tariq Makbul, incarcerated at New Jersey State Prison in Trenton. It's a proud moment for me and the family to be part of this discussion, to recognize Tariq's efforts to be an active provider of events in a world that we cannot peek into. Many thanks to everyone involved in the Prison Journalism Project and bringing an imaginary picture of life behind bars out to everyone to ponder on the well-being and day-to-day events inside the high walls.
I really, really appreciate that. It's really touching. And I hope he knows that his family came out for him and represented him and acknowledged him. Because not only do we write this for people to read our stuff, but we also want our families. I was formerly incarcerated myself. I know how important it is to be acknowledged by family members. I really appreciate that. It really makes me kind of emotional. That's cool. Best news. Stories or package that covers a single news event or issue. Third place goes to Washington Post mishandled court mail, impeded access to justice by Christopher Blackwell. Second place, San Quentin is decaying. California has no clear plan to fix it by Kevin D. Sawyer. Next up, first place goes to Georgia prisoners can be denied vital halfway house placement due to medical condition by C. Dream.
Hey, Lawrence, can I say something real quick about Kevin D. Sawyer? I missed my shot because I was too slow on the draw.
I knew I saw you come on. I should have called you, but
Yeah, sorry
it's all
about that.
good.
Yeah, so Kevin D. Sawyer was our senior editor and business manager at San Quentin News for a long time, one of my key mentors when I moved there from Folsom. I can honestly say that he's one of the guys that has utmost integrity, and he's always sincere in his writing, always been a prison advocate, very intellectual, and he's very happy to get this award and recognition. He's been very well recognized in the journalism community, published everywhere, well, in a lot of places. But this is of utmost significance for him just because it's the recognition of prison journalism, and that's where he wants to be known as. So thank you very much for giving him this award and recognition.
Best collaboration. Work between two or more incarcerated writers or between incarcerated writers and writers on the outside. Third place goes to Tina Vasquez and Derek R. Trumbo Sr. Next up, second place, Christopher Blackwell, who's all over the place. Christopher is very prolific. And Nina Zweig. Hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. First place is Josh McGee and Corey Hassan McClary.
How's it going? Josh McGee here with Mindside News.
Hey.
How's it going? I wanted to thank first my editors and the Prison Journalism Project who brought this story to us and helped us build and edit on this collaboration. I reached out to Corey because I think I've never seen anyone as brave as this person to tell this story. Corey wrote, "I didn't know what to say, so I did what I usually do when I'm at a loss for words. I asked myself, what would Jay-Z say?" The Jay-Z verse that came to mind was from a song called Rock Boys on the American Gangster album, where Hov said, "First of all, I want to thank my connect, the most important person with all due respect." I promise you he wrote this, not me. My connect would be the Prison Journalism Project. The team at PJP connected me with Josh McGee, and Josh did an amazing job in discovering who the man in the cell above me was. Little Eddie, or as we call him here, Capadonna, in telling Little Eddie's story. Josh put a face to the noise coming from a faceless person, and so many people in prison die faceless. So big thanks to Josh. I want to also thank the Society of Professional Journalists for recognizing our work and honoring us with the Stillwater Award. I especially want to thank my mom, dad, and the rest of my family and support team for sticking by my side through this long and arduous journey through prison. And finally, all of the glory belongs to God. Thank you, guys.
Next category is Best Feature, which is human interest or trend story, including profiles and Q&As. Third place goes to Dreams of Leaving Prison, from meeting grandkids to eating whatever you want, by Lexi Handlag. I know a lot of people dream of that.
Hey Lawrence, Wyatt with PJP. I worked with Lexi on this story, and I think one thing that's cool about it is I believe it was maybe the first time she had interviewed people for stories. Previously had kind of written personal essays, which were really high level and good. But what was neat about this was kind of pushing her comfort levels as a journalist and a reporter and going out and interviewing some people in her prison. And since that, she's done it a couple more times and it's kind of started to develop a little beat as like a feature writer out of prison. So just congrats to her on that growth as a journalist and getting a place here in the awards.
Next up is second place. How do people released from prison find housing? By John J. Lennon.
So John J. Lennon is one of our advisors at Prison Journalism Project. We wouldn't have gotten our start without him. John is very successful. He writes regularly for the New York Times. He's a contributing writer for Esquire. He's written for the Marshall Project. But there's been a lot of hard work behind it. He once told us a story about just, submitting a story to the Atlantic and being told that it wasn't quite at the level that they needed it to be. And he spent 10 years working on his craft, taking stories that were published and taking them apart, figuring out how they were put together before he was published. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that and celebrate him.
Now, first place goes to Inside the Mental Health Unit at Washington State Penitentiary by Jeffrey McGee. Next category, Best op-ed, an expression of a writer's opinion or analysis on a news event or issue. Third place, how California's new elder parole program still leaves many prisoners behind, by Artemis Blankenship. Second place, what caused his PTSD? This prison right here, by Christopher Monahan. Now, without further ado, first place winner is College on Death Row. Y'all aren't here to be rehabilitated by Lyle C. May. Is anyone here to represent Lyle?
So, yeah, this is Charlotte West with Open Campus, and we publish and edit College Inside, which is a newsletter focused on higher education in prison. And as part of the newsletter, we actually work with a lot of incarcerated writers, including Lyle. And when we entered this story, I wasn't sure whether to enter it into feature or op-ed. So I chose op-ed, and clearly I chose wisely. But I'm actually not here to represent Lyle. Lyle is actually here to speak for himself. So it's on speakerphone over speaker. So hopefully this works.
Oh, I love that.
Lyle, can you hear us? Okay, so can you guys hear him?
Yes, I can hear him.
All right, go for it, Lyle.
Hi, my name is Lyle C. May. I want to thank the Society of Professional Journalists for the honor of the Stillwater Awards in Best Op-Ed, and of course Charlotte West of Open Campus Media for submitting my essay, College on Death Row, Y'all Are Here to Be Rehabilitated. There a few words, I wasn't quite sure how this would unfold, and I would like to read them. Incarcerated journalism is about so much more than reporting stories from within confined prisons. For those of us on the inside, it's an act of resistance that challenges misinformation consumed by the public. Incarcerated journalism is also a chance to pick up the banner of the fourth estate when those on the outside stumble or continue no further. Like higher education in prison, pulling back the curtain on the criminal legal system is fraught with personal obstacles and institutional ones. Yet, as with any transformative act, how we need to resist and overcome the moment is critical to success. In 2022 speech, the Pan America Emerging World Voice Congress providers, Salman Rushdie said we must understand that stories are the heart of what's happening and the dishonest narratives that have attracted many. So we must work to overturn the false narratives of tyrant populist fools by telling better stories than they do, stories in which people want to live. I would add that my ability to resist through effective study comes from higher education, which enables victory over the contested territories of my life and that of many, many others. It has also enabled me to publish Witness, an insider's narrative carceral state, and forthcoming book, The Transformative Journey of Higher Education and Prison of One. But all of that is absolutely for all of us inside and those of us connected to the carceral system.
Thanks so much, Lyle. And yeah, again, we just want to, if you couldn't hear, Lyle has 2 books. One just came out and another that's forthcoming. So we're super excited to be here, and we were super excited to be able to publish them in College Inside.
And with that, see you next year.